At the beginning of the movie, we are dropped straight into the chaos of get straight to work diagnosing the broken truck. And as he repairs it, he gives the whole unit an unexpected lecture on thermodynamics, mocking them for filling the radiator with stuff and is going to matter a whole lot later. But then the mood shifts. His brother pulls him aside and drops something unexpected. He's even already checked the age cutoff. They're still eligible. The staff sergeant pushes back at first. He calls the Rangers hardcore. Says he's getting old. But his brother keeps painting the picture, the two of them earning their Ranger scrolls, running across the tarmac, Blackhawks in the background, first boots on the ground. And slowly, that resistance crumbles. All right. I'm in. You promise? Always. That single word, always, is going to carry the entire weight of this movie. And then the world explodes. Without warning, mortars start raining down on the convoy. The attack is sudden, violent, and merciless. In the chaos, our staff sergeant fights through the fire trying to reach his brother. An explosion catches him full force and knocks him to the ground. When he wakes up, he pulls a jagged piece of shrapnel from his own knee and forces himself forward through sheer willpower. When he finally reaches his brother's truck, everyone is dead. Everyone, except his brother, who is barely breathing. Just barely clinging to life. And then everything cuts to black. 2 years later. We are introduced to the same man, but something about him has changed. He's quieter now. Heavier. There's a stillness to him that wasn't there before. He's on a bus heading to Ranger training camp in Colorado, and before he even gets off, he's already reaching for medication, something for PTSD. Whatever happened in Afghanistan didn't just leave a scar. It left something much deeper. At the induction hall, the candidates are stripped of everything, their names, their identities, their personal belongings. From this point forward, they are numbers. Not people. Numbers. And the message is clear, the program doesn't care who you were before you walked through that door. One by one, numbers are assigned. Because of his rank as an E6, our main character is immediately offered a team leader position. He turns it down flat. No hesitation. No explanation. He is assigned the number 81. The man who commanded respect in combat doesn't want to be in charge of anyone. That tells you everything. Past every physical, mental, and emotional limit they have. At the end of it all, one final challenge awaits, a brutal 24-hour death march. Only those who survive it will earn the Ranger scroll. And just like that, the grinder begins. End. And the eliminations start immediately, numbers called out, bags packed, candidates sent home. No second chances. No sympathy. We see 81 move through all of it almost mechanically. He doesn't struggle with the physical stuff. He doesn't complain. He doesn't bond. He eats alone. He runs ahead of the group. He does just enough to stay in the program and not a single thing more. Other candidates start to notice. There's a guy, candidate 15, who can't stop talking. He's the conspiracy theorist of the group, convinced that once they're in the Rangers, they'll finally learn the truth about moon landings and other classified secrets. Then there's candidate 44, a former Department of Defense analyst who shuts him down every time. And candidate 7, an E6 who was also offered team leader and actually accepted it, he watches 81 quietly, like he's trying to figure something out. During a long group run, 15 spots 81 way out ahead of everyone and jokes that he's making them all look bad. But there's no joke back. No smile. Nothing. Then, during a rifle training session, a drill sergeant goes around the room challenging candidates about their deployment experience. He mocks most of them. But when he gets to 81, the energy in the room shifts entirely. Combat Engineer. 213th CSSB. Sapper. 3rd Brigade. 10th Mountain Division. The sergeant goes quiet. The other candidates exchange looks. Later at lunch, 44 fills in the blanks for the rest of the group. In Kandahar, 81 was the sole survivor of a Taliban attack that wiped out an entire unit. And after the attack, he carried his brother nearly 10 miles back toward base. For that, he was awarded the Silver Star, one of the highest military honors in existence. But here's the twist that nobody in that cafeteria knows yet. The medal isn't something 81 is proud of. It's something that haunts him every single day. Meanwhile, almost like background noise at this point, a news report plays on the TV behind them. NASA has detected a massive interstellar object entering the solar system. Officials say it'll pass close to Earth but pose no danger. Sure it won't. As the weeks grind on, the training gets darker and more intense. Breaching drills. Assault simulations. Hand-to-hand combat. And for 81, each exercise that involves explosions or chaos pulls him a little closer to the edge. Candidate 7 notices 81 taking medication one night. He sees the tattoo. He quietly pieces things together, and tries to reach out. But 81 shuts him down before he can even finish the sentence. Then comes the pool exercise. Candidates must walk underwater while carrying heavy weight. One by one, people surface early, lungs burning, unable to continue. But 81 keeps walking. And as he does, something breaks open inside him. The pressure of the water becomes the weight of the memory, the explosion, his brother's body, the desperate miles he walked trying to get him home in time. He pushes forward until his body physically fails him. He loses consciousness underwater. The instructors pull him out. CPR. He comes back. And then the quiet that follows is somehow worse than the drama. Sheridan and his first sergeant, Torres, decide they've seen enough. They call 81 in and lay it out plainly. His physical ability is not in question. What concerns them is everything else, the isolation, the refusal of leadership, the sleeplessness, the way he seems to be operating from a place of pain rather than purpose. They tell him that what happened to him in Afghanistan would have broken most people. That it would be completely understandable to take time, to heal, to seek help. Instead, he applied for RASP almost immediately after discharge. And they want to know why. His answer is simple. He just wants to cross the finish line. Sheridan slides a voluntary withdrawal form across the desk. He tells him gently but firmly, if they remove him, he can never come back. This is his last shot. 81 doesn't touch the form. He says he still has a parade to prepare for. Sheridan stares at him. Then, frustrated, orders him out. In the next elimination round, Torres calls 81's number. The room goes tense. But instead of sending him home, Torres tells him to step forward, because he's made it to the final stage. The death march. And then Torres drops the second surprise. The team leader role 81 refused. He's getting it anyway. Effective immediately, 81 is in command. Not everyone is happy about that. Torres briefs the surviving candidates on the final mission. A classified aircraft has supposedly been shot down in enemy territory. Their job is to locate it, destroy it before it can be captured, find the pilot being held in a nearby village, and get back to base, all within 24 hours. 2 Black Hawk helicopters drop the team deep into the Rocky Mountains. Dense forest. No roads. No shortcuts. Just terrain, time, and whatever the cadre decides to throw at them. 81 sets the timer. Gives the team their bearing. 20 clicks west. No pep talk. No speech. That's when Candidate 7 steps in and gives one instead, rallying the group, reminding them why they're there. 81 nods. They move out. As night falls, the team climbs rocky slopes, sends regular radio check-ins, and starts feeling the mission settle into a rhythm. 7 suggests a short rest near the river, suspecting the cadre is waiting there for an ambush. Smart thinking. 81 agrees, but only 20 minutes. And then something explodes nearby. Not artillery. Not the cadre. Something else entirely. By morning, the team finds the supposed crash site. The aircraft looks wrong. Strange. Way too advanced. The coordinates don't match their briefing. The compasses are behaving erratically. Radio signals are scrambled with interference that nobody can explain. Everyone assumes it's part of the simulation. Advanced special effects. Cadre running psychological games on them. They are very, very wrong. 81 spots something glinting in the tree line and slips away to check it out. What he finds stops him cold. That's the real target, an old jet, far from their current location. Which means everything about their positioning is off. He turns and runs back to warn them. But he's too late. The demolition team has already set charges and detonated them. The explosion hits, and the aircraft doesn't even get scratched. Not a single mark. Then it powers up. What the team thought was wreckage rises off the ground. A blue scanning beam sweeps the area, and then turns red. Locks on. And opens fire. Soldiers go down instantly. 81 shoves people out of the way, screaming for everyone to run. They scatter into the forest as the machine hunts them. They reach a steep drop, nowhere left to go, and a blast sends them all tumbling down the slope. At the bottom, the team is broken. Injured. In shock. One soldier is impaled. Others are bleeding badly. This is where we truly see who 81 is. He resets his own dislocated fingers without a sound. Then immediately goes to work on everyone else. He's calm. Focused. Methodical. He frees the impaled soldier carefully, applies a tourniquet to 7's badly injured leg, assesses who can walk and who can't. The demolition team never made it. The radio, and its operator, are gone. And just to make things worse, when 81 goes back to retrieve the radio, the machine reappears and kills a wounded soldier right in front of him with surgical precision. It's not just attacking them. It's hunting them. No comms. No flares. Weapons that do nothing against the machine's plating. Deep in hostile mountain terrain with injured soldiers and a target that does not stop. 81 makes the call. They move toward the village, approximately 80 clicks west where the cadre are supposed to be stationed. No debate. No vote. They lift 7 and they walk. What follows is one of the most grueling sequences in the film. A river crossing using improvised zip lines. The machine returning mid-crossing. Soldiers swept away in the current. A waterfall. Bodies tumbling over the edge. Somehow, most of them survive. And they pick up a soldier, Candidate 60, who they assumed was dead. He tells them something chilling. He saw the original mission plan in Torres's office. What was set up for them was nothing more than fireworks and booby traps. A standard simulation. Whatever they've been fighting has nothing to do with the Rangers training program. When they finally reach the supposed village, they find it burned to ash. Charred remains where people used to live. And then 81 pieces it together, a massive clearing cutting straight down the mountain like a wound in the earth. The machine didn't crash near them. It crashed through the village first, cut through an entire mountainside, and came to rest exactly where they found it. Candidate 60 connects the final dot. There was a news report back at camp. An asteroid. Entering the solar system. It's not from this planet. The team absorbs that in silence. And then 15, the loud, conspiracy-obsessed candidate who's been annoying everyone since day one, says what everyone is thinking. He looks at 81 and challenges him. Tells him not everyone is a war hero. Tells him they need time to grieve, to process, to be human. And that's when 81 breaks. Not with anger. With truth. He corrects the record. He didn't carry his brother back to base. He passed out 100 yards from the perimeter. His brother was still alive. He died alone while 81 was unconscious in the dirt. And they gave him a silver star for the worst moment of his life. The silence that follows says everything. 81 steadies himself and refocuses the team. 7 needs to get back to base. People need to be warned. They move. When they find a damaged armored vehicle lodged in the terrain, 81. And for just a moment, 81 smiles. Even cracks a joke. But the flare they spotted earlier has just fired into the sky. The machine triggered the trip wire. It's coming. In the chaos of loading up and moving out, 15, the man who challenged 81, who called him inhuman, runs back for extra ammunition and doesn't make it back to the vehicle. The machine kills him. But the ammo lands in the truck. Even then, it doesn't stop. The vehicle takes damage, soldiers are lost, 44 is killed at the wheel mid-chase. The truck crashes. And 81 wakes up alone in the wreckage surrounded by the burned remains of his team. He sees the machine in the rubble. Still active. Still transmitting. Like it's calling home. And then he sees 7. Still alive. 81 drags himself toward him. The machine begins scanning. They're almost out of time. And then, his watch beeps. 24 hours. The mission window is over. He failed. Lying in the mud, exhausted and in agony, 7 speaks. He tells 81 he recognized him from the very first day on the bus. Years ago, during training, he knew a loud, passionate private with the same tattoo, DFQ, don't quit. It was 81's brother. A man who never stopped talking about becoming a ranger. 7 asks 81 directly. You think you failed your brother? 81 doesn't answer. You never gave up. That's not failure. That's a ranger. And then 81 asks the one question that matters. How do you stop something like that? 7 asks what his brother would do. 81 thinks. And then it surfaces, that lesson in the desert, 2 years ago. Heat. Pressure. Blocked vents. Fill it with stop leak. He gets up. He spots the quarry in the distance, the one the helicopter warned them about at the very beginning. If you see it on foot, you've gone completely off course. Well. Here they are. He tells 7 to stay. He'll be back. Inside the quarry, he finds explosives, lighting controls, and a rock feeding system connected to an industrial cone crusher. He rigs everything up, fires a flare from the quarry entrance, and waits. The machine takes the bait. It enters the quarry scanning for the source of the signal, not knowing that the slopes around it are already wired. The explosives trigger. The machine tumbles into the pit. 81 climbs into a wheel loader and drives it straight into the machine, pinning it against the rock face directly beneath the crusher feeder. Then he activates the feeder. Rocks pour down directly into the machine's ventilation system. It fights back, pushing against the loader, charging up, trying to break free. 81 floors the accelerator and holds the line. More rocks. More pressure. Heat building. Systems overloading. The machine gets one last shot off, brings a crane crashing down on the loader. 81 jumps clear. And then the machine explodes. He exhales. Looks around. And then sees the bombs that spilled out of the wreckage rolling across the quarry floor. He runs. The chain of explosions tears the entire quarry apart behind him. The next morning, 81 carries 7 on his back. Every step forward is a debt repaid. A promise kept. A finish line finally crossed, not for a scroll. Not for a medal. For his brother. When they walk through the gates of the base, Sheridan and Torres can barely speak. He crosses the finish line. He sets 7 down. And for the first time in the entire movie, the weight on his shoulders, the weight that has been crushing him since Kandahar, seems to lift just slightly. Sheridan approaches and tells him quietly, the machines are everywhere. Multiple bases lost. This is one of the few still standing. And tens of thousands more pods are on the way. Earth is under attack. 81 tells them exactly how he destroyed it. Block the venting system. The machine overheats and collapses from within. Sheridan says those words are going to save countless lives. Then he says something else. Something 81 needed to hear. Your brother would be proud. Later, Torres calls the Rangers together and nods to 81. He steps forward and looks out at a group of soldiers who are exhausted, afraid, and uncertain of what comes next. And he speaks the only truth that matters. Fight for each other. Fight for everyone who didn't make it home. And whatever you do, don't quit. The Rangers board the Blackhawks. As they lift off, 81 is flooded with memories of his brother, the laughter, the tattoos, the promise they made when they were 18 years old. Somewhere over the mountains, the team leader begins roll call. He reaches 81's number, and pauses. The man who never slept, who carried guilt like armor for 2 years, is finally at rest. Nobody on that helicopter knows his name. But we do.